What's up guys, welcome back to the channel. Today I have something special planned. I'm building my friend's PC. So we went for the AORUS Elite AX X670, so it's AM5 build that he's doing. We will have to do a BIOS update, so let's get the motherboard ready. So you have one PCIe Gen 5 drive for the SSD and two 3.0s for other two SSDs here. There's ample slots for every other connection that you might need as well. There's some socket and then so much room for USB. This is a Wi-Fi board as well, so you do get your Wi-Fi antenna in the box as well, and then we'll set that up at the end of the day. And then we have our PCIe Gen 5 lane right there. That's ready for whatever future proofing you might need. So let's get it ready. And the CPU we'll be using is the Ryzen 7 7800X3D. 8 cores, 16 threads, what more could you need? So let's install our CPU. So let's install our CPU into the motherboard. So just remove that latch there and then remove the socket cover. Make sure you line this up properly. As you can see, there is a little cutout there, a little triangle, and then over there is our other triangle that we should line up properly. Make sure you drop this in nice and easy. Make sure that we not bend any pins, and then we just drop it in gently, give it a little wiggle, make sure it's secure. Let me just press that down, and then we should get a little pop of the cover, or not. So there is our CPU installed. And then for RAM, you went with the Trident Z5 Neo. This is, since it's AM5, it will be DDR5 kit of CL36. So then we just line that up nice and easy, making sure that we use the proper covers. There we go. Making sure we put them in the correct slots, with the slots 2 and 4. If you're running 4 dumb sticks of RAM, you can put them in all 4, but make sure you put them from the second and the fourth slots in there. Now we move on to the SSD. Moving on to the SSD is using a 4.0 SSD from Team Group, and this is a 2 TB SSD that will be more than enough room for all of these games that he wants to play, and he's adding another few drives to his rig as well. So first we'll remove the top slot for the SSD right here, and make sure you remove the heatsink peel as well. And then as you can see, that is completely toolless. You just slot in your SSD, and then you pop that back, and then you just pop that in. And make sure to remove this. So now we just have to get the motherboard ready for our liquid cooler. This is a new cooler from ID Cooling. This is the 240mm AIO cooler with a LCD. So this one is one of the newer ones on the market. They just released it a couple of months ago, or I think. And then this is one of the budget ones where you can actually get an LCD screen included. So we'll have to test this first. I've done my research on it and I couldn't find anyone else doing this cooler before. So this is a new one for me, and then we'll find out together how good it actually is. So we have our tools and stuff over here. So this would be our bracket tray and everything. And then here you would have your 2 fans. We have our light loops around the fans. There's nothing inside, but that's perfectly fine because he said he did want minimal RGB. So that's perfectly fine. And then we have our liquid cooler right here. Then we just need to make sure we take this out properly, not to damage anything. So here we have our cooler, so that's the radiator, right? So you would attach your fans either on this side or this side, depending on what configuration you would want. So we're going for a pull configuration. We're pulling air out of the case, so we put them on this side, on the inside. And this would also be my first time installing a liquid cooler. And then here you have our pump head. I think this is an ZOTAC design as well. And then you do have the big pump head with the LCD screen there. I think it's a 5-inch screen, I'm not too sure. And then you have all your little connectors in here as well. So there is addressable RGB, there's the USB for the RGB, and then you have your cable for your pump speed as well. And then we just need to get the motherboard ready for the cooler. So to get the motherboard ready, correction, it's AMD, so AM5 needs to be added, not LGA 1700. Oops. But what they do is they label everything very nicely for you. Everything is labeled properly. So you got your 1200 AMD and then your 1700, and then you get all your hardware that you would need right there, as well as everything is labeled properly in here as well. So with that's labeled properly, and then here you have all your bracketry, and they even include some thermal paste for you as well. This is AM5, so there's no bracket for 1700 or backplate, so we just have to remove these two and then add the AMD brackets for AM5 in here as well. So we'll take that off. You add the AM5 standoffs right there, then you just break them off. Then you just put them right there. Alright, so then you just need to add in the brackets. Okay, so here we have our complete motherboard. I think this should be ready to go into our case. And this is our case. It's the Fractal North in white with the wood aesthetic in the front. It does come in black as well, but he went for white as a personal preference. So it does come with two non-RGB fans in front, 140mm, pushes air through, and then air on the top as well. And then your front I/O, you get your power button right there, separate headphone and microphone jack, as well as two USB 3.0 slots, as well as a Type-C. So let's open it up and see how the bolt space looks. And then there we go. As you can see, you can just go up to 80x motherboard sizes. It's pretty tight packed in here, but I think you can make a really nice looking bolt here. We didn't go for a very big graphics card, it was a 2-fan card with ZOTAC 4070, so that's not bad. And all our standards for the motherboard already set up as well. So you can remove the top side as well to install your fans. It can support up to two 140s or two 120s up here, and also just only 240mm radiator, which we have here. Here is our backside. Here we have place for two SSDs right there, as well as decent cable management for this case as well. And then we have all our connectors over here. Then moving to the top side, we just pull the tab right over here and slide this thing off. So you do have a little mesh here in front, as it does cover, works perfectly well. Whichever air settles on here, once you start your PC, it'll just blow back up, so you should be fine. And then you have space right there for you to mount everything right there, fans or radiators as well. Then also you do have your hard drive cases in here. You do have space for two 3.5-inch 3.5-inch hard drives down there as well, but they are removable, and here would be your little tools that you would need to secure everything down. So now we get to install our motherboard. So now we install our motherboard, and we already have an IO shield. So we don't need to install that right there. So we need to just lower this down and install it properly, and make sure you don't scratch the back of the board, and make sure everything is nice and snug. and make sure everything would line up as it needs to. So then you just screw down your motherboard. Motherboard is installed. So now it's time to install our all-in-one cooler. So we'll be going for orientation like this. Say now this is the back of the case, that's the front, where our pipes will be going like this, and then we're mounting our pump head on the CPU like this. And then our fans, we'll be making sure that the cables go on the back side so we can mount them throughout the back of the case. So they will be going on like so, with the RGB going oops like that. Just flip that out. Go so. And there you have it. Our fans are installed. Now let's get this into our case. Also, what I remember now, since we're installing a radiator, we need to make sure that we have space to get to our CPU power over here. So let's unbox our power supply so we can get those cables in. Otherwise, no space. So we'll be going for the GIGABYTE ultra durable 1000 watt power supply, which is more than enough that it needs for the CPU. This is the gold rated 80 plus and it's PCIe Gen 5 ready as well. Up to 600 watts of power can push it easily. So this is more than enough for future proofing if you want to upgrade to say just a bigger graphics card, you know, just a bigger graphics card and even a bigger CPU. So let's get that EPS power cable plugged in. So let's open it up. Manual. Then we have the big boy power supply right there. You have some screws to mount your power supply to the chassis. And then here would be the cables. So now we need to install our CPU power into these two ports here at the top. So then we just need to make sure that we plug them in the right way. So as you can see, hopefully you can see there's a little ridge there at the top, and then this connector, this part will just click right into that as well. So these two go side by side like that. With the power that this thing will be pushing out, we definitely need both of these cables. That's one, make sure it's nice and snug. And that's two, very tight and secure, making sure that we don't cause any issues with it. So this is kind of ugly, so this will hang, I don't know why it will be there. So this will go down to the power supply, and then we just making sure we don't put too much strain on the connectors over here so that they don't cause any issues when the machine is running. Here we go. All done. So we already mounted all the fans. This thing's just going to be
yeah, that's right.
So we already mounted our fans, and it's time to install this into the chassis just to make sure that it's 100% and it fits properly, and hopefully it should be smooth.
I was way off.
Fingers crossed. But before we do so, let's just do a little peel here at the back so that we won't be seeing this. And this thing will be getting hot, so we want to smell it like plastic. The other one we can do later on. I hate radiators. It's my first time installing one, but I really hate them. They look cool in the immortal words of PC centric. They look cool, but they are a pain to install. Getting it through all of these, and I don't understand why there's not another cutout over here. But Fractal. So let's feed our 1000 cables through. If we even have space. Let's pull this through again. pull them through.
Approximately 10 hours later.
So then we take our radiator and pull the cables gently through, making sure that we don't nick or cut the cables, and make sure that our radiator is mounted properly. So the little issue that you run into with this power supply, especially with this over here, it pushes back towards it pushes to the front actually, towards the radiator, and that prevents it kind of from sitting in snug. So we'll have to MacGyver this to make it work properly. So we made it work, and now we're just tightening it down. Okay, so I made it work. It's a bit of a strain at the back where the power cables come through, and we did run into a little bit of issue of hearing heatsink here as a bit of a fitment issue with the fan. So this is pretty wide. So if you were to get a different motherboard, maybe with a smaller heatsink, maybe a lower tier motherboard or something like that, it would work perfectly well. But this, it took a little bit of brute force, not too much, didn't break anything, so don't worry about it, just to get the radiator fitted properly. So now we just need to tie this down, and we move on to mounting our pump. Okay, so now we're getting to install our pump head, making sure that we just need to remove this and then install our thermal paste as well. So then just take this off. And then we just need to add some of our thermal paste over here. We add just a little dollop right there. Since this is not a real big CPU, we don't need that much. That should be perfect. Okay, so we'll be mounting the pump head now, and then we'll be mounting it like this. Then we screw in the pump, making sure we go one side 2 turns, one side 2 turns, to make sure that the thermal paste spreads out evenly. And then once you reach the final, just give it like half a turn, just to make sure it's nice and tight, so you get proper cooling. There we go. We ran into a little bit of an issue here. The motherboard is a bit too big for the case, but it supports up to ATX with radiators. But what they don't tell you is, if you have an ATX board, all your pump and fan headers sit there at the top. Fan is in the way. Cables need to go in. Can't go in. So now I need to take out the fan again, to plug in all the connections there, just to make sure that all these things is 100% behind there, as well as do some cable management as well. So it's going to be a bit tricky, but we'll have to do it. Okay, so it's finally fixed. What I did, I had to remove both of these fans over here, plug in all the connectors there at the top, make sure everything is well and connected, and push everything back through that stupid little small cutout there at the back to push everything. Well, it pushed the ball back in a couple of minutes already, but no worries, we move. So this is how it's looking here at the back. Here's all our connections, and here is our front panel connections. So let's get that out of the way. So what's pretty cool with this motherboard, it comes with this little adapter for the front switches, and it's perfectly labeled. So we already have a power LED plus and minus over there, and then we just plug in the power switch. Here we go. So then we plug this into our front I/O right over there, and then our HD audio would go right here in the corner. HD audio right there. There we go. That's right in there. And then our USB 3.0 would go right over there. Here we go. Nice and secure. So that's all our front panels. And our front fans are daisy chainable, so you just change them back together, and then you plug them into system fan number 1. Okay, so we'll be installing another exhaust fan right here at the back, because it doesn't come with any. So this is a non-RGB ID fan. Here we have our screws. So here's the fan. Let's just feed the cable through the back. I don't know much can fit through that tiny hole anymore.
That's what she said.
Okay, so here we go. Now that fan is connected, Unfortunately, the cable is very short, so you have to daisy chain it with one of the fans in front, or one of the other fans. So I daisy chained it with the intake fan, so they'll be pushing the same volume at the same speed from front to back.
So you went with the ZOTAC Gaming 4070. It has all the newest technology, DLSS, ray tracing, everything. So you'll be playing a lot of different kind of games, Diablo, AORUS, and for its work, the system will be more than enough. Love gaming. Okay, so we got this. I'm guessing this is some stickers or something. I'm not sure. Not even stickers. Oh, we have a sticker. Then Mr. ZOTAC himself. Let's get this out of here. This is very basic packaging, but still very good. Keeps the card safe. This is the ZOTAC 4070. It's very small for a 4070 for what I would want, but it looks pretty decent. 3 display ports and 1 HDMI. High refresh rate, 4K quality, millions of FPS, so you shouldn't have a problem with it whatsoever. As long as you have the monitor, you push it. Remember that. I failed. Oh, they put it underneath it, so that might cause some issues. I'm curious to see all the
Then we just line up the card with our top slot there. Then you should hear a nice little card is secure, and there we go. Then you just need to make sure that you screw your card and make sure it is secure again. And there you have it, card is installed. And now we need to install the power supply. So we have our 4 screws here to mount the power supply. We have our big ATX power as well. And then we have our PCIe for the graphics card. So now we just need to take out the mount for the power supply. So then we have our motherboard, the big ATX goes in there. So this is a nonsense where it comes with a daisy chain. So unfortunately this side will plug into our PC, into our graphics card, and one will just dangle there flaccidly. Then we just feed in our big ATX 24 pin that goes right over there. There we go, nice and snug. Then we just plug in our 8 pin into our GPU right there. So there you have it, finished PC. So all we need to do now is post to see if it turns on. So now we need to see if we get our first boot and if we get a signal. So there. Ho, 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 ho. It turns on, we get a signal. I really hope we get a signal. Come on. It's probably doing some memory training since it's AMD, but so we have a boot screen, finally. So what the issue was is, so we did a BIOS update. That took forever, and I thought it did some memory training. It might have done that. And so originally we had the DisplayPort cable in. I checked the whole internet basically for what's going on. And then finally, we switched to HDMI, and then it booted. And then finally we switched to HDMI in the motherboard, booted, no issues instantly, like what the if.
You dumbass! You're a dumbass! Such a dumbass!
And now the, because it was stuck on the VGA debug light for forever. It just didn't want to boot whatsoever. And then restarted. and then we plugged into the graphics card again with the HDMI, and it worked perfectly fine. So here we are finally. It's running, everything is installed. Well, not everything, still needs to install its games, but Windows is installed, it's running smoothly. All we just need to do is tidy up the cable management, and then we're done. This is my first time building an AMD PC, and it's my first time building in the Fractal North as well. We did run into some issues as well, but I think we persevered and we sorted it out. Although I wouldn't recommend it if you're going full ATX, otherwise you would just have to check that everything that you buy is compatible. And guys, let me know what you guys think. Should we try and do some more? If you guys have any suggestions, questions out there, what would you have done different in this PC build? And we will do a future video where we will do some benchmarks, Cinebench, testing in some games, the games that he normally plays, and just to see what the specific performance is. And then that's it. So thanks guys. If you do like the video, make sure you like, comment, subscribe, share the video if you want to as well, and give me some suggestions on any future videos that you might like. Peace out. See you in the next one.